So I'm like, whoa, all right, this is real. And that was for a 10:50 a.m. show. So and then more people coming in for like the 2 o'clock one, and then there was another one in like 3D or something. So that was nuts. But that being said, wow, I said a lot of us. Yeah, it's a new episode. We're back. The last episodes are kind of wild, but today we're gonna, approach it in a much more organized, interesting way. Especially because it's a much more interesting topic. Avengers Endgame. We're going to talk about that. So before I begin, it is I, Luis, him, Edward, and that Bruce. They're back. We have our intern, Diana, in the background helping. At least that's what she thinks she's doing. But yeah, we're here. And again, for all the audio listeners, thank you for listening to us. And if you want to see funny stuff, just go to our YouTube channel. You get to see our ugly, my ugly, and then these two handsome
our ugly
caramel chocolate faces, and maybe that native face over there.
You should pop your face like every now and then, just so they could see you.
Yeah, I didn't say ugly. I just said native.
Like a Kanye West on the Snapchats where he just.
Oh, he's pretty said it.
Yeah, it's basically Diana.
Pretty much. What was I gonna say? I feel so. My brain feels kind of like slow right now, because I watched it today before we came here, and I just feel like not in shock. Just I don't really like them. It's business, strictly business. Today was more for pleasure, hanging out, having fun. But what's it called? Yeah, I got to see it one more time. A total of 3 times, and even then, I'm still in awe as to
3 times, bro.
I'm planning on watching it again. I want to,
bro.
It's that good.
You're gonna chill.
It's so. I mean, I saw Straight Outta Compton and Star Wars, the first new one, 5 times
in theaters.
In theaters,
both those movies,
both of them.
Straight Outta Compton, I understand. That thing's dope.
Nah, like it's dope, but like to go watch it 5 times, bro. Like,
I mean, but again, I also wasn't watching in like big theaters. I was watching like here in Pacific. It was like $4, $5. Like, yeah, I'm not gonna spend $11 every time. No. But Star Wars, I mean, because it finally came back, and I'm a huge Star Wars fan, so obviously I'm gonna go see it.
Yeah.
But speaking of Star Wars, again, okay, so now I'm gonna start off on a sad note. So,
may the 4th be with you.
Oh yeah, first off, yeah, may the 4th be with you. What?
Wait, what happened?
She pointed at him. I don't know.
That the guy who acted as Chewbacca.
Yeah, that's what we're bringing up. Today's May 4th, so May the 4th
be with you.
Yeah.
Which is what, AKA Star Wars Day?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Basically.
But yeah, unfortunately, as Diana interrupted and mentioned, the actor who portrayed Chewbacca
in the original
trilogy, including the newer one. No, I think he also came out in the 3rd one, because Chewie came out in episode 3. But he wasn't Chewie yet.
Oh yeah.
He was just the main one on the planet Kashyyyk. Yeah. But yeah, so the actor he passed away. Unfortunately, Peter Mayhew.
2 days ago.
I think yesterday, or maybe no. Let me double check. Get information correctly. May. Oh, it doesn't say. Oh, well, I mean, regardless, the fact is that 2 days ago, unfortunately, he's passed away at the age of 74. Really tall guy, but essentially, yeah, his role wasn't really a speaking role, but at the end, he still left an impact on whether you're a kid, you're an adult who watched the original trilogy, or you're just starting to get into it. Like, one of the main things you think of when you think of Star Wars is Chewie, or that big Bigfoot bear-looking thing. So, that's unfortunate to hear. And then also, in another unfortunate news, director John Singleton passed away. And if you're not familiar with who he is, you should be familiar with him. Yeah, so...
Boys in the Hood, Poetic
Justice, Too Fast, Too Furious, Baby Boy, Higher Learning, Rosewood, Four Brothers, helped produce Black Snake Moan.
8 Mile. Yeah, 8 Mile?
Yeah, 8 Mile produced that one as well. So, I mean, the list goes on. And then he's also known for being, if I'm correct, the youngest and first African-American male to be nominated for Best Director for Boys in the Hood. That's right, yeah. I think he was 24, 25.
Yeah, he was young.
He's young, so he helped open a lot of doors. So, I mean, unfortunately, he passed away at the age of
He was, I think, 56 or
50,
something.
yeah, to some people, oh, he's getting old, but I
Nah,
mean,
he's young, bro.
it's young. It's unfortunate. But yeah, that sucks. But you know, hopefully his legacy lives. Obviously, his legacy is gonna live through his movies. And if you haven't, start off with Boys in the Hood. It's a classic, as my brown brother Edward would say.
Have you seen it?
Whoa.
I'm just asking.
Are you
bro.
sure? Are you sure? You want him to let you
Have
borrow
you
it?
seen Poetic Justice
I don't know.
with
I
Pac?
don't think so, no, I don't think so.
Pac, Janet Jackson. You haven't seen it? You should watch it. It's good. But yeah, so that's unfortunate. But let's start with more positive note. We have seen Avengers Endgame. We've all seen it at least once. We're gonna go see it the first time together. And spoiler alert. I mean, if you haven't seen it by now, go watch it. It's worth the watch.
It's been a week, no?
Yeah, it's a second opening. Second weekend, and they're saying that it might, or more than likely, surpass Avatar as the highest grossing film of all time.
I mean, it's the quickest one to make a
Billion.
billion in opening weekend.
Yeah, bro. Worldwide, I was like,
Yeah, because I know
Damn.
Avatar, I think worldwide is $2.14 billion.
Damn.
But they're saying that after this weekend, Endgame is more than likely to surpass that easily. I'm not surprised though, because we've been waiting for this for a long time, especially after the way Infinity War ended. You're kind of like, what? Like I remember when I first saw it with Bruce. I mean, I remember us just being kind of like, wait, so that's how it ends. Whoa, but yeah, so let's get started. Yeah, let's go straight into it. I have some talking points, but let's start off with the intro, how it started. And the two main events, I would say, are killing Thanos. And I would even include the actual 5 years later, that text. The way it comes out, just, it's so slow. And I'm like, why? But you kind of like, for me personally, I felt like they did on purpose. Because if 5 years, some people was like, oh, whatever. But 5 years with half of the world gone is kind of like,
That's a long time, bro.
it's a long time of trying to get past something that most people haven't surpassed. But yeah, you guys, what were your thoughts or reactions? Like, the intro with Hawkeye's family,
That was,
Cap coming out.
It was unexpected. 'cause
yeah,
we were
bro.
watching
I thought it
commercials.
was still like a commercial
Yeah,
or
and then
something.
boom.
And then, I was like, what?
There was
I saw
no
his face,
Marvel,
I was like,
yeah.
it's already starting,
Yeah.
bro.
Well, remember the guy sitting next to
Yeah,
us?
the guy, he's
Yeah,
like, I gotta
man.
use the restroom. I was like, hey, bro, you good? Like, I thought it was a commercial. Like, hurry up, though. He's like, all right. And then I saw it start. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, I thought it was a trailer. I'm like, oh, okay. But yeah,
I like how they showed it though. How they
Yeah,
started
straight
off.
to it.
I was like, nice, bro.
Oh,
I was like,
yeah.
so that's what happened. Because he didn't come out in Infinity War, right?
no,
No, he didn't. Yeah, so I like how they like made him like. Oh my bad. Is that better? What did they say?
Oh, how he?
I like how they started
Hawkeye
it off with Hawkeye, yeah, to see his background where he was at when everything
Yeah.
was going on and stuff. It was pretty sad.
Yeah,
too.
and it wasn't even like more than.
I don't
10
know if you
minutes.
guys know, but his daughter, no, never mind. I'm thinking of the wrong one. Yeah,
Kate Bishop.
Yeah, she becomes
Yeah, in the comics,
picks
it's
up-
not his daughter, but I think they're might go with.
Yeah,
that.
more-
Yeah, because I
with
mean,
it.
he was teaching her, no, right
Yeah.
there. He was teaching her.
They
how
might
to
go
use
with his
the bow and
daughter. It
arrow.
makes sense.
And she got him like on the bullseye too.
Yeah.
huh?
Because he even calls her Hawkeye, which is a kind of a callback to in the comics. They call him and Kate Bishop call each other Hawkeye.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of. I mean, it may not happen, but it's kind of like more. Because one thing I guess I do want to point about this film is that regardless of whether some people like this, some people love this, some people thought it was okay, or some people thought it was the most amazing film of all time, is that there was a lot of fan service. And whether you know a lot about the comics, like a comic historian here, or you kind of have the gist of it, or you did some Wikipedia and Google stuff, it's enough to be like, I see what they did there. Oh, I kind of get it.
Yeah, they do a lot of references.
Yeah.
They
But
pulled a lot from the comics, but various
Yeah.
comics, not just one.
so, but before we get too deep into that, Thor cutting off Thanos' head. Did you see that coming?
No, bro.
He was like,
I think my jaw dropped when that happened. I was like, what? I was like, I thought he was gonna come out in the movie, bro.
Yeah,
I was
that's it.
like-
It's over. No more.
I thought that was it. I didn't think like he was gonna come back. I was like, he's dead. I was like, now what are they
That was the
gonna
whole
do,
point
bro?
of it,
What are
yeah.
they gonna do, bro? I was like, what? That was crazy.
Like everybody go home already.
Yeah,
That's
the
it.
end. That's how it ends.
I was surprised. We just chopped his head off.
No, I thought. I mean, because in my head, what I thought was gonna happen, before we saw the movie, my theory was that this fool, I thought the whole plot was gonna be them. I mean, kind of close to what they actually did, but I thought the whole plot was the mission to just to get. I mean, yeah, maybe the gem, but the time Infinity Stone, just that one, so then they can reverse
Go
time.
back, yeah.
Yeah, so I wasn't far off, but I thought it was just mainly gonna be that one. But obviously,
Yeah, they
went way
did,
deeper.
yeah.
Yeah, like when they showed up, the fact that he destroyed the gems and the stones, I'm like, wait, so what now? Well, what's the point?
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's.
But
it.
I like that they did that because it's kind of like, oh, okay, cool. Also, one thing I don't know if you guys noticed this, but I did notice it when I saw the trailer when Thor gets his hammer and walks up to Captain Marvel when they're still in the headquarters, and he says, "Oh, I like this one."
Yeah.
If I don't know, maybe I'm going crazy. If you listen close as he's walking up to her and she turns around, you can kind of hear, maybe I'm going crazy, a whisper that says, like, "Oh, I'm telepathic" or something. It's, I kid you not, if we go watch it, listen for that, you hear like telepathic, something. So
Wait, who says that?
Captain Marvel.
To Thor.
Yeah, I'll play the trailer and then I'll try to boost up the volume, see if you can catch it. Because again, either I'm going insane or I heard something.
Is she though? Is
I don't know. That's the thing.
like in comics and stuff.
I don't think that.
No,
Yeah, that's what I'm like. I don't know.
I think you just saw it too many times.
But I heard it first in the trailer.
Bro,
the
what-
first time I saw the
him.
trailer. Yeah,
Oh.
She's smoking, bro.
knowledge,
Nah.
art, creativity. No, but maybe I am, or maybe it's something that I heard in the theater. But
Mhm.
I'll play it again. But what was I gonna say? Oh, but yeah, how about the host that scene with Cap talking to the essentially people who
Oh, I
Lots
love
of
that.
It's
I-
genius, right?
That's good. Yeah, because you could actually see Cap doing that. Like,
yeah.
you know, he's that good of a person that he'll still go out of his way to help people whatever way he can. He's like,
That's kind of how he connected with Sam in Winter Soldier.
yeah.
Because he obviously met Sam running, but he invited him to one of the meetings,
Mhm.
and then Sam Falcon was talking to like the group of veterans and stuff. So I thought that was cool. It's cool, like, oh, you know, he did it, I'm do too. But yeah, you're right. You could see Cap. I mean, that's what else. If you're not fighting people, you
Yeah.
could see him like, hey, Captain America. You can talk to. Imagine like, man, I'm feeling sad. Cap.
Cap comes out of nowhere.
Hey, what's up? Hey, Cap. Yeah, I'm feeling kind of down. Breaks on the door. Let's talk American.
Let's talk.
Okay.
American.
Okay.
Yeah, I love that little joke of that's America's ass.
Oh, yeah.
And then he does the salute. I fucking love that. I'm like,
Well, in that case, let's move forward to that time heist. So, I mean, unless you want to add more about anything in the
Nah.
introduction, no.
nah, I think we're good.
Yeah.
So yeah, the time heist. Wait, so just to get my thoughts across. Here's the thing. Also, if I get emotional in this episode, I apologize because
It's a few tears.
yeah. No. Well, let me explain why. I should explain in the beginning. The thing is here. Look, I'm not gonna lie and be like, oh, I'm a comic historian. I've read all the comics. I've read what I could in the library. But when I first saw that Iron Man trailer in 2007 or 8,
Yeah.
I remember vividly. I was on Yahoo.com checking my SBCglobal.net email, and I said Iron Man movie premiering soon. I'm like, whoa! And I clicked on the trailer. It played that Iron Man song by Black Sabbath, and I was like, oh my gosh! And I tried to tell people around the house. Obviously, nobody cares for superheroes, so I'm like, okay, whatever. This is just me. So I finally saw it, and then that's when it started. And I realized, like, oh, like. I would say my love for superheroes began with the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, like being able to see an actual good movie in which a superhero is portrayed on the screen and not animated, live action was like, oh my gosh, like this is so cool.
Mm-hmm.
So then obviously my love for Spider-Man and then this and it just like this idea, like me wanting to be a writer, wanting to get into whether it's film or just anything in general with television and production. Or just the big screen as a whole. Like, it showed me, like, not every movie has to be a melodrama. Like, it can just be about a guy who's stuck in a cave who made a suit, who's also a billionaire, who wants to save the world. And it's like, man. And, like, nah, it's funny. I start crying. No, but so, like, I think that's why I've connected. And I know, like, I laugh, I joke about it, but I think part of the reason why I teed up, and I'll go deeper into it, where I teed up with certain movies as well, not just this one, even Infinity War, like, that got me. Was because it's kind of like, oh, this is the end of a chapter.
Yeah.
Like, this is 10 years. I'm not saying I sat every year, like, I'm going to dedicate years and years of my life to this. But for me personally, I felt so connected to it. So, which is why I'm so passionate, especially about this movie. Because, I mean, obviously we've been waiting for a long time. Ever since they announced there was going to be part 1 and part 2. But yeah, I'll probably see it later on. But yeah, let's get into the time. Oh, so to the time, as I was going to say, So I kind of got it after the second viewing. Okay, it kind of makes more sense now with the realities and how it works and why, if you change something in the past, it won't change your future.
Yeah.
And I know I've seen some people review say like, oh, like being nitpicky, like, oh, it doesn't make sense, this and that. At the end of the day, who cares, bro? Like, they're going in time using a quantum machine to go get some stolen, like a time heist to steal Infinity Stones to bring people back who vanish into dust. Like, who cares, bro? Unless you're like a real physicist and you really want to. Fine, I respect it. It's fine. You want to kind of be cool about it. I don't care. But at the end of the day, like, just enjoy it. Because we probably won't see anything like this for another 3-4 years. If that's how they plan it out in terms of the new Avengers and blah, 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 blah. But that was just my thoughts on the time heist. But yeah, you guys, what'd you think? What were your thoughts on it?
At first, I was one of those dudes that was like, wouldn't it change things? Like, especially the ending for Cap, because it's like,
yeah, I'll go with that, yeah.
Him staying in the bag, wouldn't that change everything? Because he wouldn't be frozen. So, he could have formed his own Avengers team way before.
Way back in the
He would have been active basically during those 70 years that he was frozen.
Yeah.
So it's like, dude, I'm pretty sure that would change history, even especially their current history. So I'm like, that didn't make sense to me. Just that part itself. Yeah. The other part about like leaving the stones back before they potentially got it, because then that would just make kind of like a loop.
Yeah,
that I'm cool with that. But just his ending, I'm like, that would technically change their future.
Yeah. Oh no, sorry. I was gonna say something, but
no. Do you have something to say about that?
No,
Because that's one of the things too for me.
Oh,
I was talking to my brother about it. He's like, maybe it's just like a loop type thing. Like he's there because you know how there's gonna be two Captain Rogers.
Yeah, there'd be two Captain America.
So that means he would go and then it's the same thing. He would go back in time again, and there's two again. He gets frozen. He goes all the way to that part,
but what
and
about,
then he goes back again.
Yeah, but what about what's her name? His love,
Peggy.
Yeah. What about her whole job?
Yeah, because she had supposedly kids, and
and everything. That would change.
Wait, she has what?
She already had another family.
So
also, then that changes.
Here's the thing.
Exactly, that would change.
Didn't Captain America with Peggy's daughter?
Yeah, that was really weird. That happened. But I kind of ignore that. But I was
in the comic
watching. I saw this podcast. I was listening to it, and they were talking about how I think it was it Winter Soldier or Civil War when Peggy died and she was in her deathbed. Mm-hmm. She said something about, because remember.
Oh yeah.
It might be a little confusing, but she mentioned how she lived a happy life with somebody and had kids. Ooh. And somebody in the podcast said, maybe just having a stab at it. What if she was referring to Cap? Like I know it's weird.
No, but that would be
it'd be crazy.
But that's a big shot.
No, but the thing is, obviously he doesn't know. Like
yeah.
But she lived in a timeline. Like it's so weird. Like the whole time thing. I mean,
that's why I hate when movies play with time. Yeah, they're just like.
I think the scene will help me a lot. Well, but to finish that off, but yeah, so that was him saying, "Oh, that was his theory." Like, what if she was referring to him? Which then again, it's kind of weird because of her niece and whatnot. Who cares? It's still out the window. Because she didn't even come out in the end. But yeah, so it's kind of like. But let's say in a perfect situation, what if she was right?
That'd be crazy.
She just didn't tell him, but it was him.
That'd be crazy.
And he just didn't know. I was like,
that'd be sick.
Oh, what, my friend? That could happen. but I mean, if you want to break it down, obviously you're gonna fall down a rabbit hole. But to bring it back to the actual time heist, I think the scene that helped was when Hulk met up with the Ancient One.
She was
and they kind of explained
things.
It
how we put the time stones back and everything.
Yeah. And Hulk explained it to her, like when they said, "Oh, Back to the Future, Terminator," and it's funny because all the time travel movies you've seen, if you change something in the past, it'll change your future.
Yeah, it's the butterfly effect.
Yeah, but it makes sense how Bruce says no, because what happens is if you change the past, you just create a whole new timeline. So now, the past that you're in is now your future, and the future that you were in, present, is now your past. So it's like everything flips upside down. When I was like, oh, I kind of get it now. I mean, obviously, I think, and it makes sense when they come back and whatnot, and they just have to return it. But I think maybe they kind of cheated a little bit was with Cap becoming old, and we'll get into that more. But either way, I mean, again, it's also one of those things like, there's a talking raccoon. Like, there's a talking raccoon. It's not forget. This is, again, it's not. But I think I like how they kind of did enough to kind of break it down, so it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, so people can follow it. Like,
yeah,
okay,
it's like,
this
oh,
is going on.
So it's not totally like, wait, what if he
Yeah.
did that? What if he did that? Because then, I don't know if you know about Disney Plus, the streaming service.
Yeah,
they're
bro.
having
They're gonna
TV
do
shows.
all
Yeah.
So Falcon and Bucky, Loki's having his own thing. So some people are theorizing that Loki series is gonna follow Loki when he disappeared.
After he got the Tesseract.
Yeah, the Tesseract. So I don't know, maybe you could, I don't know, but so it's little things in there. That's why I want to see it again, because I'm just so fan. Like, wait, maybe there's something
with every
else.
little thing that
Yeah, I
happens,
can
bro.
see. Yeah, were there any favorite moments from the time heist, that section, that you were like, oh, that was good?
Everything was cool, bro. The one that surprised me was the Soul Stone. I was like, dang. And I know what's his name, Ant-Man, bro. Like when they're talking about it, he's like, not it. Like to go for the Soul Stone, bro.
I'm like, wait.
And I thought about it too. I was like, yeah, does that mean someone has to die, bro?
Yeah.
But like they didn't think about it
Yeah,
when them
that's
two
right.
went. And then the guy explained, was it Red Skull?
Yeah, Red Skull.
Yeah. And I was like,
Which is funny because I feel like Cap still to this moment still has no idea that Red Skull is still somewhat alive. Yeah, nobody has told him. I mean, Hawkeye kind of mentioned it. Oh, go talk to the guy with the red head or something.
Yeah.
But they never like clarified.
Really?
So it's like Cap this whole time. Like, I defeated him. But he's low key
He's still
living.
there,
He's
yeah.
chilling in like this weird Soul Stone world. And you had a favorite moment? Anything?
I mean, it was just more like Caps in theirs, like going back. The Hell Hydra.
Oh, the New York mission. I think that mission was probably the
Yeah,
that
but
was cool.
the elevator one.
Yeah, they were.
he
just went.
Hell
I
Hydra.
was like,
Because I'm like, oh, they're about
I was
to do
waiting for
another
the fight
elevator
again,
scene.
bro. I was waiting for that fighting scene again.
If you guys don't know, that's from a comic. That's from Secret Wars.
Oh, when he's a Hydra agent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You find out that he's actually been a undercover Hydra agent, and then they they end the series of the Secret Wars with some other Captain America going back in time to fuck up the Hydra Captain America. And
It's all time.
and it took him a long time to kill the Hydra Captain America. It's comics, but
No, yeah, it's-
that's
I like
a sick
that
nod.
callback. Yeah,
That's
like,
a
hey,
sick nod.
Hydra. I was like,
I like the Captain America fight.
oh,
He's
that.
like, I could do this all day, like
He's like,
referencing
yeah,
when he was.
I know,
Yeah, I know,
yeah.
I get it.
But I mean, even, just the fighting itself too was dope.
Yeah,
Because at the end, I think people kind of forget that Cap has been through war. I mean, obviously his main thing is super
Bro, he's a
soldier,
super soldier.
but he's a fighter.
Yeah.
So and he's at this point he's a pro with the shield. So just seeing him like, but that was cool. Yeah, and then it's so funny. I like how they kind of made fun of it because in the other Captain America movies or anything with Cap in it,
yeah.
the whole kind of like underlining of it is every time they mention Bucky, he kind of freezes. Like Winter Soldier, when he sees Bucky, he's like, he freezes, right? So then when he's getting the chokehold, he's like,
Bucky's alive.
He's alive.
And
He's
he
like,
didn't care.
no,
Oh,
yeah, he's like, what?
Yeah.
And then he gets him. I was like, oh, that's funny. I mean, it was a cool moment because it was like, he's like, wait, what? But I'm like, oh, that's hilarious that they did that. And then Captain America's butt. I thought that was so
that
funny.
that is America's ass.
Yeah, that whole, I think the New York sequence is awesome. I think, and then when they go back to the 70s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, and it was cool. The Stan Lee cameo.
Oh yeah.
So I also listened to another podcast, and they mentioned how the lady in the passenger seat was, I think, supposed to be his wife, who I think also passed away. I don't know how long ago.
Oh, like actual real life?
Yeah, his actual so it was like them together riding off.
Did they make that scene before he passed away, or did they like?
Yeah,
no,
okay.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think
it was already.
Because if they didn't, that was some good
Spider-Man.
season.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. I was like, did
It's
they?
either this one or Spider-Man's his last cameo.
No, I read that this was his last
Oh, it's
cameo.
this
Yeah,
one?
the
Yeah.
Spider-Man that I don't think it's gonna be. He's gonna be there, but I know this one was for sure his last one. So yeah, it was kind of like, I mean, obviously he didn't know he was gonna pass away, but now it's kind of like, oh, they're writing off, like into the end. Yeah, so I was like, oh, that's cool, and I love it. Peace, not allowed. Yeah, that was cool. But yeah, that whole also traveling back in time. That moment when Tony and his dad.
Oh, okay.
I was like,
when they have that little talk.
Yeah, and then I think an important scene that in a review I saw they highlighted was when they're in the elevator and he says, "Oh, like, why do you have this and that? Oh, my wife is pregnant, this and that." And then Tony just blurts out, "I have a daughter." And then when they kind of explain how when you think of it, everything Tony's like succeeded in, none of it has been seen by his parents. Nothing. And obviously his daughter was in this point. So it's kind of like him, his only chance to be like, without saying, "Hey, Dad, like you have a granddaughter, like I have a kid now." But it was in a sense his way. Yeah, it was in a sense his way, like, "Dad, like I have a kid, I have a kid." But obviously without blowing the cover. Yeah. So that's why he's like, "Oh, I have a daughter."
I never thought
he's
of
like,
it that
"Oh,
way.
okay,
That's
yeah."
cool.
So I was like, "Damn." When I saw it today again, I was like, "Oh, I understand now what they mean." But yeah, and then that was cool. That whole conversation, and I love the fact because at one point when the first time we saw it, I kind of thought they were gonna break down to a chasing kind of thing. Like, because when the lady, she's like, "Oh, yeah, I saw two suspicious guys."
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, I really hope it doesn't, because I think... And I'm glad it didn't, because then it would have overcut or undercut, like, this moment that he had with his pops. But I'm glad they just let it, and they got away with it. And then the whole Jarvis thing, who apparently that actor came out... I don't remember it. Do you remember the... oh, yeah.
I think
there was an Agent Carter series that did there for a while on ABC. That he was a character who came out on that show. So, I mean, I didn't know that until later.
They said how it might be, like...
connecting it all. So I was like, oh, that was cool. And then Cap...
You didn't know that Jarvis was an actual butler?
No, I know he was, but I didn't... I didn't know the actor. I thought they just got somebody who sounded like him, but I didn't know he was actually, like, part of kind of the MCU in a way. So I thought that was cool. And then Cap seeing Peggy again. I was like...
Oh, yeah. For a second, I thought he was gonna like knock out.
Hey, dog. Hey, I'm over here. Back at me. What? So, and then because you see he's in the office, I'm like, something's gonna happen here. And then the picture, and I was like, oh. And then she comes out. I'm like, wow, damn, dude. But any other moments that you thought were like, oh, that was funny, that was crazy
during the time heist?
Yeah, the time heist. Anything else?
Well, before the time heist, when Ant-Man, what's his name? Something Kang.
His government name?
Yeah.
Oh, Scott Lang?
Yeah, Scott Lang.
Scott Lang. I'm like, Kang.
Nah, that's I'm thinking of Kang the Conqueror. No, Scott Lang, when he meets his daughter. Oh. I was reading up on that, and apparently, I don't know if you guys knew, but his daughter took up the mantle of Ant-Man, basically.
I didn't know that.
When he passed away. Because in the comics, he's one of the ones that gets snapped away.
Oh, okay.
And so she takes up his mantle, and then she dies, and he comes back alive.
Oh, and then gone.
Yeah, and she's dead. But in the comics, they actually have that same scene where he opens the door, and she's in the house. So that's straight
cool.
reference.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's
awesome.
That's a straight reference from that.
Yeah, no. I mean, were you gonna?
No.
Oh, it sounded like you were gonna like.
No, that was cool.
No, that moment was dope because then. Like, again, when you think of, like, Ant-Man or Paul Rudd, especially those movies, Ant-Man and the Wasp, it's, like, very funny, comedic. But I feel like for a second, you kind of got to see, like...
I mean,
sincere, dramatic moment.
Bro, I thought he died. Like, when the explosion, bro. When they threw the missile, and I just see, like, everything. Yeah. I was like, no. Yeah,
well, after seeing it again, if you look close, and I observed it, I'm like, he shrinks.
Yeah,
so in the explosion, you see his body, whoop. Okay. So either way, you would still think he died, but I mean, I guess because he's Ant-Man.
I thought he was one of the ones that I was like, nah.
Yeah, I was like, wow, that just happened. Because we're like,
he was just looking outside. Yeah, everything's over.
He's like, guys, it didn't work. I was like, wow. But well, I guess in that case, that being said, let's move on to the final battle then.
Yeah.
So I guess the build up to that, I guess we'll fast forward to the actual when I guess Hulk snaps, brings everybody back. I think that part was cool. Oh, and that's one other thing I forget to mention. No, actually, I'll mention it after, but I guess for, like, favorite character moments, I guess Thor, when he's saying, like, let me do it, let me put on the gauntlet.
Oh, yeah.
For me, I was like, damn. Like, because when you realize that he's saying the way he's begging is because he wants to do something right. Because, I mean, people are like, oh, you're not a failure. But you kind of did fail.
Another favorite moment from the time heist when Thor sees his mom.
Oh, yes. How do we forget that?
Yeah, bro. That's when you said Thor. I was like,
that's right. Bro. And then he's like, I can't do this.
He was in such a dark place, and then he sees his mom, and he's like, all right. And he gets his hammer back.
Oh, yeah. I'm still worthy. Rocket's like, all right, dog. Yeah. But even when he's like, gotta tell you something, she's like, no, it's okay. Like, don't mess with my
future. She recognized that it wasn't like that Thor from the
she's like, I've grown up with witches. Like, come on.
I was like,
my favorite was eat a salad.
Oh, yeah. Eat a salad. I was like, but... I think it's in that scene when she says, which is one of the best lines in the movie. I'm going to butcher it, but I think it goes along the lines of,
Come on, bro. You've seen it 3 times.
I know, but I have so much knowledge down my head. There's something of how like it's okay to fail. Oh no, something about like don't try to be who you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
A real hero is somebody who is the best at who they are, or something like that.
Yeah.
So I was like, I mean, obviously the way they say in the movie, written,
It's a lot better.
So yeah, it was way better than what I just butchered. But I was like, what? And then seeing it the third time, I was like, I'm a hero. I need to be better. Like it's just like wow, because that's essentially the premise of at least whether it's part of the film, but also Thor's story.
Thor, yeah.
Because in all the movies, I mean, yes, 1 and 2, I guess okay. Third one, greatest movie, best one from that. But you see how his journey is like, I'm supposed to be the king of my people.
Yeah.
But even then, it never feels solidified. I'm the king. So, but then they kind of confirmed that in this one. But we'll get to that later on. But anything else on the time heist before we move on to the back?
Nah, not that.
No? Yeah, because that Thor. I forgot about that.
I'm about to leave.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Yeah, because I gotta work. But sorry, I might get ahead of your stuff.
No, yeah, go for it.
But you know when he says Avengers Assemble? Bro, that was the first time he's ever said that.
Yes, right. I just.
Oh yeah, because in one of the movies he's about to say he's like Avengers, and then they cut it off.
So that's the first time they say it. Also, Thor is a G. Fucking love the dude. He's my favorite from the movie. Just because of the way he goes out. Like, people can't say that it was because of the Infinity Gauntlet that he was that strong. Like, nah.
Oh, you're talking about Thanos?
Yeah. Did I say Thor?
Yeah, you said Thor. I was like, wait,
yeah, I was like, whoa.
No, Thanos. yeah, Thanos. You know, people can't say that was the Infinity Gauntlet because he stood his ground.
That fight, bro, against them 3, I was like...
He's a Titan. He's a Titan.
Yeah,
he withstood himself with heroes that already knew how to fight him, and he still was like, nah, I got this.
Remember Infinity War? He whooped Hulk like nothing. He did John Wick combos on him, and I was like...
And the way he goes out, he just accepts defeat. He just sits
down.
He just sits down.
Like, whoa, this is it, yo. I lost.
He doesn't beg. He doesn't say. He just sits down. That's fucking G shit right there.
Yeah, I was like, wow.
Yeah, that's my favorite from there. From the 3 endings of the people, Cap. Yeah, that was my favorite. When I saw him old, I was like, yeah, I was like, that's cool. And then when he gives the shield over to Sam, that's also from the comics because he does give him
he becomes Captain America.
Yeah, he becomes Captain America for a while. And then what else was I gonna say? I think that might have been it.
I guess so. Just if you could sum it up before you head out, what's next for the Avengers then?
I know that they're making a Black Widow movie.
Yeah, I know that.
And I know Scarlett Johansson is directing it, so obviously it has to be before.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be like a prequel type of thing.
But I know for sure they're gonna like regroup a new team.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll add new characters now that they own Fox
Fox and monopolizing everything. Yeah.
So
Wolverine,
just excited to see
Avengers. Because Wolverine was an Avenger, right?
Well, him and Spider-Man got on the Avengers list like super late.
Oh yeah. Everybody's and like, here you go, join the party.
But yeah, I mean the thing about the Avengers is that there's multiple Avengers. There's like the West Coast Avengers, East Coast Avengers, the main Avengers. Like it's
just a lot.
There's a lot. So maybe they'll do that now. Like maybe they'll put some.
Now that they're getting the rights to all these.
Well, not only that, but now that they saw like an actual threat to the planet, maybe they'll be like,
hey, we need to spread out.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe you'll see Modor or whatever that doctor's name.
Kang the Conqueror too.
Kang, maybe Galactus.
That's right. Redemption after that terrible.
Exactly. They might do a. They might do a lot.
Yeah, again. I guess to kind of summarize it, or to kind of agree to what you're saying, like, it sucks because this is the end of an era, but now it just opens way more doors. Like the Guardians of the Galaxy.
That was also a comic.
It's a comic. Know that.
It started in late 2018. So it's an actual nod to comics. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I know that either.
It's Guardians of the Galaxy. That's there. Yeah.
So let's come back. So Edward unfortunately had to head out. He had to go work, but he left us with some great talking points that reminded us of some other stuff. Did, bro. So I guess I just want to go back to the Hulk part. So this is before anything. Is part of the beginning when they see Hulk. So I don't know if you knew this, but in the comics there's a character named Professor Hulk. which is eventually when Bruce figures out how to merge the both. Yeah. So same thing. Oh, like I kept seeing this as a disease, but now it's like, wait, I can control this. Yeah. And obviously, after months of trying and gamma radiation, he figured it out. So I like that they did. I did not see that coming.
Me neither, bro.
Because on all the posters and trailers, you just see Mark Ruffalo. Because you're gonna assume, oh, he's gonna Hulk out.
Yeah.
He's literally hulking out the whole movie. Yeah. So I thought that was cool. And then the kids want to take a picture, the Hulk out, green, or like, look, kids dab. All that was funny.
When he tries to pretend to be the other Hulk when they do the time heist. He just hits a little car.
And it's funny though, because now I'm gonna turn this funny moment to a deep, thoughtful one.
Oh, okay.
When you realize how much he enjoys being loved by everybody.
Yeah.
Because remember when in the time heist, when he opens the door and knocks Tony down, and all the people are like, screaming, running away from him? Because he's a monster. Meanwhile, new Professor Hulk is loved and accepted. Kids want to take pictures with him. He can speak. People admire him, his strength, his intelligence. So he's not a monster anymore. He's taking control of it. So I thought that was interesting how they kind of, maybe that wasn't the intention.
Different angle,
yeah, but the different angle of like, oh, look, this is what he wanted, or maybe didn't know he wanted this whole time. He wanted to be loved and not be considered a lonely monster. So I just thought that was cool.
Yeah, like in Thor Ragnarok 2, where he's like, you prefer Bruce over me.
Yeah, I was like, dang, dude, it's funny.
Acting like a baby and stuff.
Yeah, I was like, oh, yeah. But yeah, I thought that was cool. But yeah, let's get to the final battle.
Sure.
Yeah, that whole sequence with where did we leave? Oh, Thor wanted to do it, but then Bruce is like, oh, when he says like, this is pretty much like, I'm meant for this. I was like, damn, dog, kind of were. And I like how Thor says like, because I know him and Hulk have always had that argument of who's the strongest Avenger.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'm the strongest Avenger, and then even Tony says like, you're not in any form, dude. Like you're not good. So, but it's also heartbreaking to see how Thor's trying to make up for what he didn't do, which is save everybody. So, yeah, that was a cool moment, and seeing Hulk do it through the snap, the phone call, and like, honey, can you hear me? Like, I thought that whole sequence was like, oh my gosh, and then cut to the main and Ant-Man. Oh, I think it worked, and then just because that first shot was great too, and Hulk is just laying on his back, and he looks up smiling, and then the shadow just comes, and you're like, oh shoot, and then Ant-Man just gets blown. Okay, first off, I mean, again, there's a talking raccoon. I get it. But part of you is kind of like, wait, so how'd they all survive that? I mean, it wasn't just one blast. It was like 1, 2, 3, 4. It was a lot, rock. Yeah, it was a lot. But they all managed. Even Hawkeye, after falling off.
I thought one of them was going to die, bro.
Yeah, or at least some, like,
yeah, I was like,
out.
Man, bro.
But I mean, they're the Avengers, bro.
They're the Avengers, bro.
Yeah, they can do whatever. But yeah, so there's that. And then also that part with Nebula. With Nebula 2014 and then current Nebula and Gamora coming back.
Dang, she really wanted to prove her dad, bro.
Yeah, which is shows you like, dang, how well, at least Gamora maybe was a little more strong-minded. Yeah. But Nebula was very, in that sense of trying to, because I mean, you could tell even in the old Guardians of the Galaxy movies, not old, but in those, you see how much he kind of has preference towards Gamora. Then he has Nebula. Yeah. It's obvious. But to see it, like, in action, like, I'll do anything for my father. Compared to her finally being free and be, like, my own mind. Which also brings me to another one where I totally forgot. In the beginning, Tony on the ship.
Oh,
how he's so skinny.
Oh, yeah, bro.
I was like, wow. I don't know if that was CGI or if he actually lost weight.
That just was for that intense. Specific thing, dude. Yeah, I was like, dang.
That was wild.
His arms, they were just...
Yeah, I was like, whoa. So there's that. And then even that whole scene when he kind of pissed off. And he says, like, Cap, like, it was supposed to be you and me. But you lied. You left me.
That was before the whole 5 years thing, right?
Yeah. That was when he was still, like, just recovering.
Yeah, that's when they got there, yeah.
And you kind of think about, I mean, part of the reason why they lost against Thanos is because they fought him separately.
Yeah.
So so that, I think, I mean, I'll get into this later on, but I think overall this movie, if Robert Downey Jr. doesn't get some form of Oscar recognition or Golden Globes, like I get it's a superhero movie, but he's been carrying this franchise for like 10 years. And he hasn't come on every Marvel movie, but he's made an impact in a lot of them. But just his performance specifically in this one, seeing him in that moment, being pissed, not wanting to be a part of him anymore, or being scared, and then just I was like, wow, like dude, come on, dog.
They really humanized him more.
Yeah.
Because before you just see him as a rich playboy guy, and like.
Yeah, it's a whole.
He
arc.
gets a family, and then like he's mad at Cap. Like he was supposed to be like really good friends with him.
Yeah,
and it's like,
it's so good. Oh, sorry about that, guys. Just.
What?
Yeah, but that being said, let's go back to the battle because I mean, again, there's so much that maybe you can have. We'll bring it up later on in other type of episodes, but. Yeah, this whole battle in itself was
amazing,
awesome.
Bro.
It was so well done. Like I would say one of the best scenes, one of my favorite moments from that was Cap getting the hammer.
Yes, bro. I keep talking about that with everyone, bro. Just like I see a move and I'm like, I thought Thor, it was he's like getting it somehow, and then you just see Cap fucking just
like when I talk about fan service because that happens in the comics.
Oh yeah.
So. Like I said, this movie is total fan service, but they did it well. So it's like, what? How can you hate it? Like,
and then Thor is like, I knew it.
I love that callback to like I think it was Age of Ultron when they
he lifts it a little bit.
So I listened to another podcast, another review, the theory of why he could pick it up now but not then. So in that time he knew about Bucky killing Tony's parents, but he hadn't told Tony yet. So he carried this lie with him.
Oh, okay.
So he was almost worthy, but the theory is that lie is what held him back. So he went, because it's Cap America, the righteous man. And even Thor was like, oh, wait a minute, but that was what held him back. But now that him and Tony have made up, they're essentially a big family again. He's worthy.
Yeah, he's worthy.
And what a moment to be worthy in, because Thor was looking a little shaky.
The way he wielded the shield and the hammer at the same time, bro.
Oh.
That was amazing, bro.
That was dope. Well, another big moment when Cap, on your left.
Yeah.
And I love that the first three people to come out were Black Panther or T'Challa, Shuri, and I forget her name, the general, but them coming out three together. Oh, come on, bro. Come on, bro.
I love that part, bro. And all the circles just...
Yep.
I'm like, they're out here, bro.
And it's crazy because the first two times I didn't really tear up seeing that. But seeing it this third time, it hit me because I was like, just beautiful, bro. Like, there's a shot of Cap standing across where Thanos is at. Yeah. And Thanos' whole army there. And you're like, damn,
for
Cap.
a minute, like, it's over.
Like, damn, Cap really about to try to fight everybody up in here. Like, okay, here we go. But then just that Cap. And then Falcon just left, bro. Yeah, soars in. Yes, Spidey comes back, takes off his mask. You're like, oh, Cap. And even Thanos, his face, he's just like, okay, like, damn. It's gonna be a fight. All right, we got it. But yeah, what an awesome scene. And then the Avengers assemble, like Edward mentioned. It's like, you're right. This is the first time you ever hear him say it. And then like that scene, Avengers, and then
and they cut it off.
But hearing him say it is with the hammer, I'm like, oh, come on. Like,
it sucks though too, because it's the only time he's gonna say
it. But yeah, it's just like, wow, like it's camera.
Shut off.
What's it called?
Oh wait, battery.
Oh, battery. Yeah. Okay, we'll just keep talking. So yeah, that moment was crazy, and I was like, wow, like even now I'm getting choked up about it because it's like, oh my gosh, what a way to bring everybody back.
Yeah. Dude,
and then what is it that they say? Because when they show the armies, that's when it's like, oh, it's about to go down. And then what did they say? Something like that.
Oh yeah.
And they're all saying it, and it's like, oh, and then once like even the army from Asgard comes in, and they're like, oh yeah, they're all chanting, and it's like, it's about to go down.
Honestly, bro, I was wondering too. I was like, when is everyone coming in, bro? They're all alive. I was like, how's this gonna happen? I completely forgot about the whole like.
And here's the thing too, cause like, and I think you're gonna like what I'm about to say. So obviously Thanos whooped the boo boo. Oh, another thing too. I don't know if you remember in Avengers when Cap, Thor, and Tony first meet up. They fight. They have that fight in the forest, and they're just like knock each other out. Now, what do you know? The three main ones to fight Thanos before they get whooped, obviously.
Yeah.
Tony, Cap.